We have two speakers this afternoon, and to start with, we have our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Dennis Sidipas, to introduce our first speaker. Dr. Dipas.
Yes, Ma'am Lee. Thank you.
Sir, please.
Respected afternoon greetings to our CHED Commissioner, Dr. Aldrin A. Darilag, CHEDRO 8 Director, Dr. George M. Colorado, our very dynamic sub-presidents of Region 8, participants, good afternoon to all. Our first resource speaker for this afternoon session is a University Research Associate and Affiliate Instructor at the Department of Development, Broadcasting and Telecommunication, College of Development Communication at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. He earned his bachelor's degree in Development Communication, major in Community Broadcasting at UPLB in 2004, and master's degree in Development Communication, minor in Community Development at the same institution this year. Before joining the academe, he served as writer for ABS-CBN flagship AM station DZMM and as program development head of DZJB Radio Calabarzon. His research interests include community communication, community broadcasting, and community development. Ladies and gentlemen, our first resource speaker for this afternoon session, Mr. Ryan J. Galang.
Thank you, Sir Dennis.
Thank you, thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome our first speaker this afternoon, Sir Ryan Galang.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Am I loud and clear po?
Yes, sir. Very clear po.
Ayan. Sa mga hindi po naka-open ng camera, pwede bang paki-thumbs up sa ating reaction? Kung kayo po ay naririnig ako ngayon, loud and clear. Ayan. Marami pong salamat. Okay. For this session, no, I think yesterday nanonood na rin po ako sa inyong webinar. Kasama po yung ating iba pang mga colleagues from the College of Development Communication. For this afternoon ay kasama ko din si Sir Chad Roble na mag-share sa inyo about radio production. Siguro for now ay gusto ko lang mag-level off tayo. Sino po ba sa atin ang nakasubok ng gumamit ng audio editing software like either Audacity or Audition or kahit sa mga mobile apps po? Meron na po bang mga nakagamit dito ng mga audio editing software? Yan, meron po. Si Ma'am Carmela, Ma'am Rona, nakagamit na sila. Ano po kaya ang gamit yung software po? And sige, tingnan natin kung ano yung Sony Soundforge. Okay. So yung iba po, I will assume ay hindi pa po nakapag-try gumamit ng audio editing software. I remember when way back nung aking college days, hindi ko po alam sa iba kung nakapag-try na. Dati ang recording namin ay via real tape. Yung malalaking pangsasinihan, no, nagre-recording kami manually ng aming mga school on the air programs, radio dramas and documentary na talagang bawal magkamali kasi uulit ka ulit. But right now, because of our we are now in the digital age, with technology ay naging madali na rin po ang recording. And I think all of us ay magagawa rin po yun. So let me proceed with our presentation. I'm going to share first. Hindi ko na po siguro dadaanan pa yung mga na-share kanina ni Sir Chico, no, about broadcast speech and performance, about writing the radio script. We will now focus more on the technical aspect of our recording. Okay. Nakikita niyo na po ba sa screen yung PowerPoint? Okay, so our topic this afternoon is about radio production in the pipeline, production of a radio instructional material. Okay. So before we officially start talaga yung sa recording o sa production, may I ask lang siguro sa ating mga participants, do you believe that radio is a dying medium? Naniniwala ba kayong wala ng audience sa radio? No, because of the advent of technology, we have television, we have social media, we have a lot of things na ino-offer ngayon ng new media, specifically, na wala na raw ang radyo. But actually, we can say, nag-agree po ako sa mga kasama natin sa DepEd at sa mga participants natin na buhay ang radyo. This year and last year, we went to Cagayan region, no, sa Region 2, where we conducted our research on community radios and their role in food and nutrition security. Last 2 years ago, nakapunta rin kami dyan sa Visayas, pero ang napuntahan namin ay yung isang radio station about ng NNC sa Cebu. And in Mindanao, buhay na buhay ang radio. And right now, because of your theme, talagang we are now rediscovering the power of radio, not only to inform, not only to entertain, but right now we will use radio to educate once more our learners. So at least nagka-agree ang ating mga participants that kahit pa meron pang TV, kahit may social media, ang radio kasi, the good quality of radio is that nag-a-adapt siya. It reinvents itself, no? Uh, Tumanay maraming taon pero nandyan pa rin ang radio. Ayan. Sabi nga ni Sir Don Gapasin, this webinar is a manifestation na buhay ang radio. Agree po tayo dyan. Now, let's discuss the radio production itself. There are only three basic requirements in radio production. That is the hardware, the software, and the human resources or the talents. What I mean of hardware, syempre kung magre-recording ka, kailangan mo ng mixer or console, you need a microphone, need mo ng computer kung saan ka mag-recording, wala na kasi ngayon yung mga real tape nga, yung mga player na dating ginagamit natin for recording. So you need hardware, no. Mamaya siguro mag-share tayo ng ilang tips, no, because alam naman natin na hindi lahat ng mga HEIs, hindi lahat ng mga schools ay equipped with radio broadcast studios or radio studios na pwede mag-recording. So, tingnan natin kung paano natin siya mai-adapt. No? We would like to also to acknowledge our online viewers via Facebook and YouTube. Nakasama po natin na nag-aaral ngayon maliban sa ating mga Zoom participants. Now, we also have the software. Kaya tinanong ko kanina kung kayo ba ay nakapag-try na. Some of us ay nakapag-try na mag-audio editing software. Ditong simula kahapon, meron kayong pinapanood na demo, no, instructional video on how to use Audacity. We are advocating HEIs and actually mga schools to use Audacity for the reason that it is a free software, no? Wala siyang subscription, easily to download at yun nga, free, hindi nyo kailangan magbayad. Kaya we are advocating you use that software, no? We also would like to know na isa pang requirement in radio production human resources, of course. Sabi nga ni Ma'am Daday, ayan, from Visca, yan yung mga open source softwares natin. Of course, we need human resources or talents. You have, nabanggit ni Sir Chico kanina, kailangan may director ka, kailangan may editor ka, kailangan may talent ka, yung voice over mo, a narrator. Pero minsan, kailangan ikaw na rin lahat yon, no? Multitask ka na, lalo na kung kailangan mo mag-produce ng iba't ibang materials. Now, this is actually the steps in actual recording or production, no? First, we need to recheck the materials needed in production. Ano po ba yung mga kailangan natin? Nauna po nating diniscuss yesterday yung inyong script. Before you go on sa recording, ang pinaka mainam ay handa na po, fully polished na po ang inyong script. Napakahirap po na doon pa tayo mag-edit. We're talking about yung mga canned materials po natin. Siyempre, when you do live, medyo ibang usapan po yun. Pero kung mag-record tayo ng ating mga materials, ay kailangan ready na ang script, na po, ready na po yung mga sound effects, background music na kailangan po ninyo, at ready na rin po yung inyong computer. At the same time, ready na rin yung inyong talent. No? Ang hirap naman na ready na yung lahat ng materyales, pero wala yung mag-voice over, wala yung narrator natin, or yung iba pa nating talent sa inyong broadcast material. Now, it is important also to exercise or to prepare the talents and equipment. What do I mean with this? Nabanggit ni Sir Chico kanina sa broadcast speech and performance, dapat na-exercise din po yung ating mga articulators, no? Especially sa mga narrators or voice-over talents natin sa ating mga materyales, na hindi lang siya basta sasabak agad sa broadcast. No? Dapat ready yung ating mga talents. At the same time, our equipment, no, na test natin. Dahil ang hirap, one time meron kaming recording, hindi namin na-check yung equipment, no, at sa kalagitnaan ng aming recording na nag-shutdown siya. So, yung buong file namin na pinaghirapan ay hindi namin na-save. So, we need to repeat our recording session. Now, we need also, after you check the material, you need to exercise and prepare the talents. It is important also to conduct the actual recording. Kaya kayo magre-recording. We call it cold cuts, no? Kapag tayo ay halimbawa I do my own recording kapag meron ako mga projects that involve audiovisual presentations na ako na rin yung magsusulat, ako na rin yung magbabasa. That's the good thing kung ikaw yung writer, narrator, because ikaw nagsulat, alam mo kung paano baybayin, alam mo yung gusto mong stress o ipunto sa iyong material. So, mas madali, mas gamay mo na kung paano mo siya i-deliver. Ang pinakamahalaga po sa recording ay i-save mo muna yung cold cuts. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? You record first your, halimbawa, the narrator part. Huwag ka muna maglagay ng any effects, huwag ka muna maglagay ng um, anything. Basta pure the raw material, the raw voice na mare-record, yun muna ang pasadahan mo. Then saka tayo papasok sa mixing, no? You organize the recording through audio mixing. So ito na yung gagawin natin through the audio editing software like yan, Audacity, Adobe Audition. Kanina nag-share ng Sony Soundforge. I've also tried a mobile app, I think the Wave app or Wave Editor. Okay din siya. Ang worry ko lang kasi if you're using mobile or halimbawa tablet, medyo mahirap mag-edit eh. So I preferred pa rin na meron akong laptop computer kung saan ako mag-edit. Lalo na kapag multitrack na yung ginagawa natin recording. What I mean of multitracking is that aside from the voice, lalapatan mo kasi siya ng background music, lalapatan mo siya ng stinger or sound effects. So mas madaling makita. No, mamaya magpapakita si Sir Chad ng example doon. Now, after yung mag-organize recording through audio mixing, you need to revisit the script for technical instruction. No, ito na papasok yung mga notes ng inyong writer and director, kailan mag-music up and under, kailan mag music up and out. So right now, I'll be sharing doon sa ating chat box para sa Zoom participants. Of course, hindi ito ma-access ng ating mga nasa Facebook and YouTube. Pero meron akong i-upload doon sa ating chat box sa Facebook. It's a sample script sa isang project namin sa ComDev Asia, para lang makita natin kung ano yung gusto kong banggitin. So sa mga Zoom participants, in-upload ko sa ating Zoom chat yung sample script. Mamaya, I'm just having problems para mapatunog yung mismong session, pero gusto i-highlight ko lang doon yung mga instruction kung bakit kailangan na i-revisit yung script po natin. And of course, we need to do post-production afterwards. So, merong evaluation. Dahil sabi nga, iba pa rin yung may ibang tenga, di ba? May ibang makikinig dun sa ginawa niyong recording. Baka para sa atin, okay na siya. Pero may napansin yung isa na, oy, hindi ata natanggal yung kumakahol na aso. At kanina, marami akong naririnig na manok, no? I'm having problem. I'm trying to record kanina, pero challenge din kasi naka-work from home tayo. Naririnig din yung kahol ng aso. Sa recording ko, rinig din yung kahol niya. So, ang hirap mag-recording talaga kapag hindi isolated or conducive ang environment for recording. Okay, so basically, may ano siya, no, record. You need to check the material, to exercise your talent and equipment. You conduct your actual recording of cold cuts, to organize through audio mixing. You need to revisit the script for technical instruction and do post-production afterwards. Okay, mamaya babalikan natin yung script na sinend ko sa inyo. Okay? So, ito yung mga ilang reminders lang. Recording begins with a good acoustics. What do you mean of acoustics are sa mga participants natin? Kailangan, syempre, ang gusto natin makuha is the cold cuts, the raw voice, na walang any ambient or natural sounds na maririnig. That's why kapag nakikita niyo yung mga artista natin, yung mga music artists, nasa isolated place sila, naka-soundproofing, yan, para ang makukuha lang sa recording ay yung voice talaga. Ang problem lang in this case ay paano pag sa bahay? Paano kapag nasa school? Wala kaming studio, wala kaming pagre-recordan. So, maraming paraan that we can do with this, no? Pwede naman sa yung mga makakapal na tela, yan, may mga kortina kayo medyo makakapal, mag-improvise na kayo, no? Hindi na yung pupunta ko sa studio kasi napakahirap noon. May mga ilang kami tinuruang DepEd teachers. Yun yung problem nila. Paano sila magre-recording? Okay na yung script, sir, eh. Pero wala kaming place para mag-record and all. So you can make and improvise your own studio in your home or in your school, no? Hindi naman kailangan. Of course, maganda kung meron talaga kayong soundproof studio. Pero kung hindi, ay gawa-gawa tayo ng paraan. No? Isa nga dyan yung makapal na tela. Basta wag lang yung flat surfaces kasi mag-bounce back lang yung tunog, no? And it will affect our recording. Ayan. Meron pang gumagamit nga po ng tela. Tama po yan, Ma'am Rona. And egg trays. Though, okay din yung egg trays. Ang problem lang sa kanya, meron siyang mga certain frequency dun sa ating recording na binabasak niya eh. Hindi talaga siya technically nakaka-soundproof. Baka si Chad mamaya matouch niya to kasi mas familiar sa mga sa soundproofing and acoustics. Now, another thing, yung mic to source distance depend on the strength, resonance, and intensity of the voice talent. What do I mean? When you do recording, kunyari meron kayong talent, nabanggit ni Sir Chico kanina, meron kasi mga tao na ang lakas ng boses sa una, tapos biglang ihina. Ayan. Biglang nawawala. Through editing, audio editing, pwede mo naman i-amplify yung volume, yung recording, pero ang pinaka-safe kasi na natin gawin din, bago pa mag-recording, i-adjust na natin. Ano ba yung layo niya dun sa microphone? Ano bang uri ng microphone ang gamit nyo? Medyo hindi ko lang sure kung kaya ko nga mag-share ng sound kasi we're trying a while ago. Ginawa ko kasi sa Adobe Audition, nag-sample ako ng iba't ibang microphones, no, na pwede nyong gamitin kapag nag-recording kayo, no, from the basic built-in mic of the laptop to condenser microphone or USB microphone that I'm using right now. So, yun po yung ating titingnan. Kapag napapansin nyo, kung meron kayong mga microphones, I suggest po na yung mic dapat ninyo ay nandito sa may taas ng inyong mouth, no? Hindi nasa baba, hindi rin po kasing distance, pero actually on top of it. Kaya yung iba ang mic nila nasa taas eh. Bakit po natin yung ginagawa? Para maiwasan po natin to. To avoid plosives, the sibilants, yung breathiness, and yung mga smacks, yung mga yan, sa microphone. Tinatanggal natin yon. Another basic rule na ginagawa minsan sa recording, no, ang distance from your microphone will be at least 3 to 4 inches away from you. O di kaya ay we say minsan yung at least 1 fist away. Hindi sobrang dikit doon sa microphone kasi ang mangyayari po noon audio overload, no, basag na yung tunog mo na hindi na rin siya ma-correct ng editor natin kapag ganun nangyari. Pag sobrang layo naman, lalo na kung condenser yung microphone mo, maririnig naman yung lahat ng natural or yung ambient sounds. So, we need to be very careful sa distance. Okay. Of course, you need to make your voice talent comfortable. Kung kayo ay magre-recording, hayaan nyo yung voice talent nyo na pumili ng pwesto. Iba't iba kasi yan eh. Ang style, gusto nila nakatayo. Meron naman na nakaupo. Basta make sure po yung proper posture ay inagagawa pa rin po natin para mabilis po o maganda po yung paglabas ng hangin, no, from the diaphragm ay doon magagaling yung boses po natin. Nabanggit naman to kanina sa broadcast, speech and performance. No, you need also to choose your music and sound effects wisely. Karamihan sa nakikita kong mga recordings, ang nagiging problem ay masyadong natuwa sa sound effect, no? Puro na lang sound effect o kaya naman yung background music is not suitable doon sa script na yung theme or yung objective ng broadcast material. So that's very self-explanatory. You need to choose your music and sound effects wisely. Now, isa pang magandang reminder when you're using consoles, lalo na sa mga nagre-recording na sa studios o halimbawa naman po ay magpaparecord po kayo sa labas or sa mga local radio stations natin. What I mean by we need to record it flat, yung iba kasi tinitimpla na agad siya eh. Though binanggit ito kanina na by default kasi yung inyong mid, high, and low na knob sa consoles ninyo ay nasa ano yan eh, gitna lang. No, ang or naka-zero, naka-flat siya. Para kapag pinrocess na yung inyong recording, mas madali siyang i-manipulate. Kasi kapag yung raw o yung cold cuts ang may problem, nakatimpla na siya ng iba, ang hirap bawiin sa editing. Okay? Okay. Actually, yun lang yun, pero let me share to you briefly kung nakita nyo na po ba yung script, na-download po ba ng ating mga Zoom participants yung script? Ayan. Ayan, may mga naka-download po ng script. Ayan, pag na-overdo, kasi alam mo yung sa sound effects, ang dami po nag-i-enjoy dyan. No, parang isang mga napapanood niyo po sa YouTube, no, yung mga sound effects. So make sure still for me the content is important, no. Magsusuportahan lang natin siya ng good recording para mas lalong ma-appreciate ng ating mga learners. So don't overdo, no, yung atin pong natakpan na ng sound effects or background music ang inyong mga recording. So let me share, kung sabayan niyo ako dun sa script, i-share screen ko sa inyo yung sample ng recording ng script na yon. However, hindi ko ata ma-share yung audio. Okay. Yan. Sa ating mga Zoom participants, I'm sharing right now at sa mga nanonood sa atin sa Facebook and YouTube yung I'm using Adobe Audition 2015. So, hindi ko alam kung tutunog to eh. Okay, wala tayong tunog. Kung check niyo po yung script natin, for example, yan yung umpisa ng ating recording. Yung itong Untitled 6, ito po yung aking voice over eh. Mamaya si Chad naman, meron po siyang i-share na sample sa ginawa namin sa School on the Air. If you can see our script, for example, itong ginawa kong short script for ComDev Asia, meron tayong mga instruction for the director and editor. So mahalaga po itong mga ganitong reminders. Like sabi ko dito sa line 1, no, bis background music up and under. So kung ako po ang editor, mag-i-edit nun, ito po yung portion na yon sa umpisa from 00 to 2 seconds. Kung makikita nyo, naka-up po yung music, yung kulay yellow na line, tapos nag-under, meaning nag-bed music po siya, ginalaw ko po siya, binababa ko. Namumove po kasi siya, hindi ata lang pwede. Ayan. So from up to under. Para hindi po siya sasapaw doon sa ating vocals. Makikita nyo rin po sa script na may mga instruction like halimbawa, after the line number 4 na new normal, ay meron akong background music up and under. Kaya kung makikita nyo po sa aking audition, dun sa may around 20 to 22 mark, ginalaw ko rin po yung ano niya, yung volume niya, no, from under, so inap ko po yung music natin. Ayan, meron po siya mga points na pwede mo siyang galawin. Okay, I think sa Audacity can also do this. So sinunod ko lang yung script hanggang dito sa dulo na sa 116 mark to 118 mark. Kung babalikan niyo yung script na sinend ko sa inyo, ang nakalagay doon sa line 19 ay background music up and out. No po? So dito po yun papatak sa 1 to 22 mark, and then meron pa po ako natirang narration dito sa 128 mark to 136, yung last part. So that's the importance po na merong script, kasi ang hirap po mag-recording, especially sa aming mga nag-edit din po ng audio, nang wala po kaming sinusundan. Kaya po pinakamahalaga, ready na yung script bago pa mag-recording. So hindi po baliktad na during recording, dun pa lang po na-edit ang ating mga script. So as a sample, let me share to you, ganito po yung magiging tunog niyan. Hindi nga lang po siya sobrang linis na linis. Kasi nirecord ko po siya ngayon lang lunchtime. I-share ko na lang po yung audio niya. Pwede nyo baybayin yung script habang pinapakinggan nyo. No? Hindi ko pa masyado na-process yung audio. I'm using my USB microphone para dito. Okay, share lang natin. Share computer sound lang po tayo.
The COVID-19 pandemic has affected thousands of lives. Despite this, family farmers showed resilience through adapting innovative approaches to cope up with the challenges in the new normal. In Bangladesh, family farmers organizations link farmers to markets through establishing makeshift vegetable stores near the villages and via online services. In Laos, farmers groups coordinate with the government and private organizations to purchase their goods and provide transportation to deliver it to the markets. And in Indonesia, family farmers are selling their produce through door-to-door marketing and delivery. Family farmers are frontliners. Family farmers are food heroes. Buy directly from farmers. Promote their produce. Let us support resilient family farming for a better tomorrow. This public service announcement is brought to you by the United Nations Decade of Family Farming and ComDev Asia.
Yun. So yun po yung recording na ginawa ko kanina. We can improve that po, lalo na yung yung voice over when we do our editing. So, of course, kanina sa broadcast speech and performance, halimbawa, ganito po talaga yung um, talking voice ko, but I can modulate my voice when I do voiceovers. And I think we can also do that, no? Kaya, aside from doing our broadcast speech and performance, maganda rin po sa editing because you can improve pa yung quality ng recording. Lalo na ngayon, ang labanan ay syempre the quality, no, ng ating mga recording. Mamaya, siguro si Chad can share more about using Audacity for your recordings. No? And before I end, share ko lang po ulit yung aking last slide. I hope hindi naman ako sobrang bilis kasi I were actually thinking paano ba i-discuss itong editing, no? Kasi dapat you are actually using right now yung Audacity, sabay-sabay tayong nag-recording or sabay-sabay tayong gumagamit ito para mas madali po namin kayong mag-guide sa ating ginagawa. Okay. That's our references, no? You can check this materials naman kung meron po kayo sa inyong reading room or library. If you want to check our other recordings, no, especially our extension and public service initiatives, so we have a cable program, community cable television program. Right now, we are internet based muna dahil nga sa lockdown. We have dito sa Laguna. That's our TV show. And we also produce right now internet-based programs like isa po sa hinahandle ko ngayon is Galing UPLB or Galing UPLB. Every Fridays po yan, 5 p.m. You can check it sa ating Facebook page ng Radyo DZLB, 11:16 a.m. ang tinig ng Kaunlaran. Siguro po mamaya if there are questions in terms of recording, in terms of other aspects ng ginagawa dito, I'm willing to answer po ako. But right now, I'm giving the floor no sa ating webinar kay Sir Chad for the technical aspect of our recording. Chad?
Okay, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir Ryan, maybe before we go to the next speaker, we have an open forum with you. Is that okay?
Sure, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay.
sige. So maybe we can ask our participants if they have questions. Please post them in the chat box so we can read them to Sir Ryan or maybe Sir. Kung mayroon tayong makitang questions dyan for you.
Check ko rin, ma'am. Okay. Sige po. Let's wait po kung may question po sila.
For the participants, please, if you have questions, please post them in our chat box so we can, Sir Ryan can actually answer to your questions. So it's really highly technical, Sir Ryan, no? It's
Yes.
audio editing. So kailangan talaga ng expertise dyan.
Ma'am, I suggest din sa ating mga participants din naman na hindi sila matakot dun sa paggamit ng software. Actually, it's when mamaya pag tinuro ni Sir Chad yung paggamit ng Audacity, there will be ang dami pa kasi niya mga functions, no, mga features na pwede mo na siyang paglaruan once you already familiar with dun sa basic na recording, how to record, how to splice the audio, how to dito mag crossfade. No, kasi tayo 'di ba sa mga siguro ilan dito sila Ma'am Daday. Ayan. 'Di ba pag nagla-live broadcast tayo or sa mga console exercise, crossfade, fade out the music, then play this one na manual natin ginagawa. But actually, if it's pre-recorded, iba naman po yung gagamitin natin, yung software na po. So may question po dito from Ma'am Arya, no? Can we use any music or sound effects without permission? Ay, yan po ang ating dapat pong tingnan. There are royalty-free music and there are, I think, I'll check ma'am and I will share na lang din siguro after the webinar. Meron kasi ni-release ata yung BBC before ng kanilang music library resources, mga sound effects na uh, in-open source na po nila. So I think I can share that with our friends from the Eastern Visayas HEIs after the webinar. And then may mga free and royalty free naman po. Kasi ang problema kapag hindi license po, baka ma-call out eh. Ano po,
Yeah,
ma-call out
that's
po
correct.
tayo. So,
Yun nga, Sir Ryan, baka maging problema ng ating mga teachers, no? Kung gagamit sila ng popular music, for example, gagamitin na background music sa radio production nila na magkaroon tayo ng problema sa copyright.
yes ma'am. Pero ma'am, pwede rin kasi siyang explore if halimbawa ano naman siya sa radio stations. I don't know if anong pwedeng arrangement na kasi mga radio stations, they can use the music na piniplay nila as background music or bed nila sa kanilang mga programs. I don't know kung pwede natin i-ask din yung ating mga local radio stations if they can um, kasi nagbabayad din sila actually for the
Yeah.
use of the music. So si
Mayroon din
Search,
namang
yes
yes
ma'am.
sir. Mayroon kasing may mga canned sound effects na pwedeng mabili. So at least para safe na lang.
Mm-hmm. Yes po. Opo, mag-search po muna and then if we can help you out then mag-outsource ng mga free and royalty-free na mga background or bed music for your program, isi-share na lang din po namin. Si Sir Chad, may
May
sinishare
question pa
dito.
sir.
Yes po.
Yeah,
Ano po?
ito. Which sound effect is better? Is it a canned or live sound effect?
Okay. Yung canned or live sound
Live.
effects.
Parang
Depende po
mahirap
sa
gawin yung live.
Depende ma'am sa resources nyo. I remember way back in 2008, 2008 na po yun though meron na tayo mga digital softwares at that time. In UPLB DevCom, I remember when we do our radio dramas and documentary, ano pa rin kami pa rin yung gumagawa ng sound effect. Iba pa rin po kasi yung ganong klaseng exercise. But right now, marami na po kasing free na sound effects po. So I think kung ano yung available. Ngayon, kung wala kayo, halimbawa, sabi nga dyan, para-paraan po tayo sa pagkuha ng sound effect na kailangan po natin. Ayun po. Meron pong tanong dito, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Please.
Any software suggestion aside from Audacity, yung mas easy i-calibrate para po sa hindi masyadong magaling sa pagkalikot ng editing software? Siguro po I will reserve this question kay Chad kasi ako talaga since college I'm using Adobe Audition. Mas nadadalian ako doon, though tinuro rin sa amin yung Audacity and yung ninuno ng Adobe Audition na madali sana pero wala na ngayon yung Cool Edit Pro. Hindi ko alam kung naalala pa ni Chad yun. Yung mga unang audio editing software. I'll check. Siguro tanong po natin kay Chad kung meron po siyang maisasuggest pa na madali. Actually, kung titingnan niyo po yung Audacity, hindi naman po siya mahirap actually. Kapag mamaya siguro pag tinuro ni Chad, pare-parehas lang po halos lahat ng editing software. May mga features lang po sila na distinct sa bawat isa. Pero technically, hindi po sila magkakalayo. Even yung mga available na free app, katulad po ng binanggit ko kanina, yesterday nag-download po ako ng WavePad audio editor. Ang problem ko lang dito, hindi ko po siya na-explore for multi-tracking. Halimbawa, gusto ko may bed music ako, may stinger. Pero kung magre-record ako ng voice, pwede na po siya. Sa mga wala pong equipment, halimbawa, tulad na po na binanggit ko, hindi ko lang po siya ma-play. Meron po kasi sana akong i-present sa inyo. I have different microphones here. For example, I have a lapel microphone, kung alam niyo po yan, that can be used as for DSLR camera and for smartphones. So, pwede po nyo to, yung brand po niya, hindi ko na po ata pwede sabihin, pero mura lang po ito. No, you can check na lang po online. Ang problem ko lang dito, medyo hazy siya ng konti yung sound na na-produce. I also have, when I do recordings remotely, Dati nagsimula lang po ako sa ganitong USB microphone. It's a small one. It's Samsung Go Direct. Bright yung tunog niya. It cost me around 1,000 to 1,500 at that time. That's 3 to 4 years ago. Okay siya pang-recording kapag nasa field ka at nagmamadali ka at kailangan mo mag-recording ng voice over. Ayan. So, you can also try this one. Ano pa po ba? Itong headset na ginagamit natin, pwede rin pong recording. I'm using a KZ headset eh. Okay din po siya. But right now, I'm using this microphone. Papakita ko lang. It's a USB microphone na condenser, omnidirectional. So ginagamit ko rin siya kapag nagre-recording ako at wala ako sa studio. Of course, magkaiba pa rin po yung tunog ng USB microphone kumpara dun sa ginagamit natin sa mga studios. Pag USB microphone po kasi ang gamit natin, kung ano po yung na-record niya, yun na yun. No? Naka-preset na kasi siya. Hindi katulad kapag yung mga cardioid microphones natin na kinakabit sa console, you have the liberty to make adjustments po. Or right now, usong-uso na rin po yung mga USB pre-mic amp. No? Kung medyo techie po kayo. Pero yun nga ang problem, ma'am. It will cost something. Sometimes a lot.
Mahal.
No po? Mahal po talaga. Pero ngayon, very compact na po ang mga gamit natin. Even in our studios in DevCom, talaga ang goal namin is really mga compact devices na. Hindi na yung malalaki. Kasi nga, mas maganda yun. You can do it, magagamit mo rin siya sa field. Or kaya pwede mo dalhin sa bahay if needed.
Sir Ryan, mayroon pa tayong question dito. Is there a hard or fast rule regarding the limit of sound effects per radio material produced? Mayroon ba siyang limit?
Wala naman, ma'am. Not unless, halimbawa po, you are doing a school on the air format. And ang learners mo ay, halimbawa lang sa DepEd, kasi yun po yung recent engagement namin, you need to make a standardized sound effects na magsasabi sa mga bata, for example, meron kang halimbawang isang tunog na pag narinig nila yon, it's quiz time na, mag-e-exam na, assessment time na. No, kasi kapag gumamit, yung sigurong sound effect na binabanggit ni Ma'am Bato, ni Ma'am or Sir Mendoza, tama ba ako? Baka yung naririnig yung sa mga DJ. Hindi po yung ganun sound effects na gagawin po natin in our material. I don't know if ang format natin will be school on the air. Of course, kung gagamit po tayo ng sound effects, it should be related dun sa atin pong depending nga po sa content, depende sa objective. Ang school on the air, for example, gumagamit kami ng sound effects like halimbawa yung ting, ganon, kapag exam or halimbawa ay nagka-countdown. So, kailangan yun ay ma-retain in every episode para yung mga bata na napoprogram sila, this will be the assessment portion na kasi ito na yung music. Ito na pala yung sound effect nun. So, magre-ready na ako for the quiz or for the lecture proper. So, wala naman pong hard or fast rule in terms of the sound effects. Dapat lang po siya ay tugma dun sa content ng inyo pong broadcast material.
Okay, sir. In relation to that, sir, mayroong question dito. Kung ang sound effects duration ba ay kailangan i-indicate doon sa script?
Better, ma'am, if you can do that. For example, for the bed, kunyari nag-music up and under ka. Gusto mong sabihin na after 3 seconds pa. So, pwede mo siyang i-note dun sa mismong script para may guide yung editor. Sometimes sa director kasi po, ang aking ina-advocate nga, if you are the writer, ikaw na rin si narrator o si editor, mas feel mo Kasi pag audio editing na siya, na digital na, mas madali mo nang i-adjust. Sometimes kasi we have a presumption like, sige 3 to 5 seconds tayong bababad muna ng music. Pero kapag pinakinggan mo na sa editing, mahaba na pala siya. So, pwede ka mag-indicate, lalo na po siguro sa mga commercials kasi ito Halimbawa, sinabi mo ang yung radio plug or radio infomercial is 30 seconds lang. So, medyo ididikit mo pa yun ng konti yan. Hindi mo pwede pahabain ng sobra yung script mo, hindi pati yung sound effects mo, pati yung bed music mo, hindi masyado wala ka masyadong space na gagalawan. No? Depende po siguro yan sa total running time ng inyong broadcast material. Ayun po.
Sir, mayroon pang question. Pwede po bang paki-clarify yung difference ng flat recording sa raw recording? Ano daw po yung difference ng flat recording sa raw
Okay,
recording?
ma'am. I think yung binabanggit ko kasi, kung yung po yung sinare ko kanina, yung flat recording, meaning po, kung nakakita po kayo at nakagamit na ng mixer or console na meron pong binabanggit kanina, kung nakatin po kayo kay Sir Chico, meron yung knob na for low, for the mid, and the high. No? Para ititimpla kasi yan eh. Pag live kasi, pwedeng itimpla. Depende sa kalibre ng boses mo. For example, medyo matinis ang boses mo. So si yung iyong edit, yung iyong nag-audio mix ay bababaan yung high para ikaw ay ang tawag dito, hindi masyado manipis yung tunog mo. What I'm sharing kung bakit flat, kasi mas madali siya for me. I don't know if Chad will agree with me. Depende rin kasi sa editor yan. Mas gusto ko na naka-flat yung recording, meaning naka 000 yon, gitna lang, mid, high. Tapos ako na lang ako mag-edit sa aking software dahil ma'am, sa software na ginagamit natin, on my case, I'm using Adobe Audition, I have also equalizers, different kind of equalizers na pwede kong i-manipulate yung boses mo. I can manipulate my voice, pwede ko siyang pakapalin pa, pwede ko siyang pabilisin. That's the good thing about learning your audio softwares, kasi hindi ka na parang, halimbawa, ganito lang talaga boses ko. So, pwede ko siyang i-improve pa. Pero iba pa rin kapag normal na yung voice mo ay maganda yung projection ng voice mo. Mas madali siyang i-edit at mas i-enhance pa po. So, ayun ma'am.
Okay, sir, meron pang, libre daw po ba? Free po ba ang Adobe Audition?
No ma'am, meron
May
po
bayad.
siyang subscription eh. That's why mamaya po, kaya nga we are advocating Audacity, because it's open source, no, free
Okay po.
software po siya. Yes, nag-share si Ma'am Daday na yung kanilang live sound effects po ay they use live sound effects pa rin. No, kasi po halimbawa, ayan, maganda yung share niya. Especially kapag umiiyak ang bata, wala naman po tayong available na na-download na umiiyak na Pinoy. Magkaiba po ba ang tunog ng pag-iyak ng batang Amerikano at Pinoy? Ay, meron po akong baby ngayon. Hindi ko alam kung magkaiba ba ang kanilang tunog, no. So, depende po siguro. Tama po 'yan na naalala ko lang yung binanggit ni Ma'am Daday, kasi yung mga madalas na available na open source na sound effects ay from the Western countries. So, iba yung tunog sa atin. So, either you will record a Carabao na live na tunog talaga niya, or gagawa ka nila ng paraan para makakuha ng mas authentic na tunog.
Okay, so there are still a lot of questions, Sir Ryan, pero sa palagay ko, this will be answered later as we continue with our second speaker. But for the meantime, sir, we would like to thank you for the insightful responses that you gave to our participants. And we are now about to give you the certificate of recognition. And we would like to request our president, the president of Eastern Visayas State University, Dr. Dominador O. Aguirre Jr., the co-chair actually of the Technology, Infrastructure and Support Committee of the EVHEI's FLMS Consortium, who will award you the certificate, sir. Sir Bimboy.
Sir Aguirre, naka-mute ka pa po.
Sir, naka-mute pa po.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay na po, sir. Please
behalf of Eastern Visayas Higher Education Institutions Flexible Learning District Consortium, allow me to award the certificate of recognition to Mr. Ryan J. I. Galang for his invaluable insight, expertise, and service rendered as resource speaker on the topic radio production in the pipeline, the production of radio instructional material during the webinar series on on air learning, rediscovering radio for flexible learning on August 18, 2020. Given this 18th of August 2020, signed yours truly, Dr. Dominador O. Aguirre, Co-Chair, Technology, Infrastructure and Support, Dr. Victor Canieso Jr., President of the Consortium, Dr. Marilyn D. Cardoso, Chair, Technology, Infrastructure and Support, and Dr. Aldrin A. Darilag, Chair Commissioner. Congratulations, sir, and thank you so much for your very informative and comprehensive lecture. Maraming salamat po, sir.
Maraming salamat po. And dun po sa Zoom chat natin, no, and iiwan ko na rin kila ma'am sa mga organizers. If you have other questions regarding broadcasting, no, just PM me na lang for email, and I'm more than willing to answer your other questions po.
Thank you, Sir Ryan. Thank you, Sir Aguirre. And we will now be moving to our next speaker. Our resource person has been in the industry for 23 years, taking part in over 40 television commercials and starring in films such as the 2009 Cinemalaya film Upkat and Magnifico, a winner of the 2004 Crystal Bear from the Berlin International Film Festival. For 15 years of those 23 years, he spent his time as a producer and editor for various media, both in print, audio, and video, before ending up in the arms of his alma mater. So since 2016, he has been University Extension Specialist in the College of Development Communication in UP Los Baños. Ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker this afternoon for session 5 is Mr. Joseph Roble.
Hi, magandang hapon. To everyone, I believe I sent Miss Arian a link para ma-explore niyo yung isang video talking about how to edit using Audacity. Can everyone give a thumbs up to if you viewed said video? Okay. Everyone? Guys? Napanood niyo ba? Okay, napakita na daw kahapon at kanina. Okay, maraming salamat. At maraming salamat sa introduction, ma'am. At bago tayo magsimula, babati muna ako sa ating mga tagapanood dito sa Zoom at sa ating Facebook and YouTube viewers. So, na-discuss na ni Sir Chico how to write a script, how to perform the script. Na-discuss na rin ni Ryan yung ilang basics ng production. So, I guess editing falls to me. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Audacity, the watered down free version of Audition, basically. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and showing you kung ano yung ginawa natin sa video, also for the benefit of those people na hindi nakaanood nung video na sinend natin. All right, so here we go. Ito yung project natin kanina. Let's try playing it.
Pagkatapos kong magsalita ay may maririnig kayong bell.
Narinig niyo ba yun? Alright. Gonna share screen again. Alright. Test it once more.
Pagkatapos kong magsalita ay may maririnig kayong bell.
Okay, let's take a look at the script nitong particular na file na ito. Can everyone see it? Okay ba? Kita ba yung script natin? Alright. So, For our script, kita natin, nilagay natin biz insert intro music. Ito yon. Yon, yung part na yon. Tapos, biz music up for 5 seconds and fade out. Medyo bumali tayo ng konti because it was only up for 3 seconds. Pero in total, it ends close to 5. Tapos, ito yung host. Pagkatapos ko magsalita ay maririnig niyo ang bell. It was this part.
Pagkatapos kong magsalita ay may maririnig kayong bell.
And then biz sfx in bell.mp4.
Bell.
Yun. And then it ends there. So as you can see, our script just has 4 lines, so it's pretty easy to interpret. However, when it comes to audition and when you're recording something as long as an SOA, probably something around 40 minutes long, the projects could get as complicated as this. So medyo pwede siyang kumapal ng ganyang level. Tapos yung script niya ay ganito na kahaba. So it goes all the way till 19 pages. As an editor, what you have to take into consideration and kung ano yung talagang primary na bibigyan mo ng atensyon ay itong mga calls na ito. Also, when the host line begins and ends. This starts with magandang, this ends with high school, and then dapat by this time yung host 2 ay nagsasalita na, so on and so forth. Ang kagandahan lang kasi dito sa ginawa nila, teka, sample natin, pakinggan natin.
Pino. Ako ang inyong lingkod, Mark Lester Chico mula sa San Pablo Science High School.
At ako naman si Trina Mendoza.
As you can see, dun sa audio file na binigay nila sa akin, 2 na silang host na nagsasalita habang nagtutuloy yung recording. Sometimes kasi minsan magkakaroon ng conflict sa schedule yung mga hosts mo. You will have to record them individually. So halimbawa, si host 1 Monday lang siya pwede, si host 2 Tuesday lang siya pwede. So Monday record mo lahat ng lines ni host 1, Tuesday record mo lahat ng lines ni host 2, Wednesday magi-edit ka na. So that's another layer of challenge na kailangan ninyong makonquer bilang audio editor. I was checking out the Zoom chat a while ago. Nakita ko yung isang tanong na meron bang ibang software aside from Audacity or Audition na pwede ninyong gamitin. To be honest, Audacity is already the watered down, diluted version of Audition. So there are functions in Audition that aren't going to be in Audacity. So Audacity is already the streamed down, the trimmed down, streamlined version of Audition. So hindi nyo naman kailangan ma-intimidate. When you're looking at this, all you're gonna need to pay attention to are the tools up here, and that's it. So itong 6 na to, and then itong play, pause, stop buttons. Wala naman kayong masyadong maraming kakalikutin. Kailangan nyo lang mag-pay attention dun sa record function and dun sa kanyang timing function, yung kanyang time shift function. So, ano pa ba yung mga i-discuss natin kanina? Normalization. Paano mag-record ng flat? Okay. Sa Audacity, ang paraan ng pag-normalize ay i-highlight mo lang siya na ganyan. Tapos, effect. And then, nandito siya sa baba, normalize. Pagka-click mo niyan, magna-normalize na siya. Click niyan, tapos click OK, magna-normalize na yan. Kita nyo, lumaki yung waveform. Bakit ganun? Lumaki yung waveform kasi tulad nga ng sabi ni RJ kanina, yung bass humahabol sa high, yung mid humahabol sa bass. Basically, the wavelengths are equalizing. Kaya lalakas talaga siya ng konti. You can control yung gain naman dito sa left and right side. By the way, guys, I'm working on the assumption that you've already seen the video. So if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me. Just post them dito sa group chat or hindi ko kasi kita yung questions ng YouTube and Facebook. Siguro maybe someone could just pass them over to me. Okay, so ano pa ba yung mga kailangan ninyong matutunan? Other than this, and other than the stuff that's been discussed in the video, overall, yun na yun. It's really easy. It's like, it's just memorizing the functions nitong anim na ito and itong functions nitong anim na nandito, and then that's it. Those are the foundations. If you can get behind the functions of those 12 buttons, you'll be fine.
Sir,
And then it's yes, ma'am.
Are you going to entertain questions while you are discussing?
Yes.
Okay
Yeah,
lang
sure.
po. Here is a question, sir. Where do you usually download your background music and sound effects?
I have a paid subscription with Epidemic Sound.
Okay.
So yun, the website is Epidemic Sound. You can download tracks there for free as a trial for like your first 3 months. I'm not sponsored, by the way. I'm just saying that this is like the best resource for me pagdating sa sound effects. Wait lang.
Okay po.
I'm gonna show you the website.
Question, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Go lang po.
Makaya pa po ba namin, lalo na kay oldest na kami from YouTube, Bible verses in mic distance is measured by inches from the mouth. How many inches shall we measure to avoid unnecessary noise po?
Ay, lagi. Magamit pa mo itong software. Pero ano, sorry. May narinig akong Bisaya and I just felt like it. Okay, it's
what
very
should be the
easy.
distance, sir? What should be the distance from the mouth to avoid unnecessary?
I usually just use the fist. If it's one fist away, I'll be fine. Pero depende rin kasi sa mic eh. Kasi this one is a condenser cardioid microphone, so I have to be like this close. Pero as you can see, it's not directly right in front of my mouth para ma-avoid ko yung mga yung mga plosives tsaka sibilants.
Okay.
So yeah, this is generally the setup that I would recommend if you're using this mic. It's a matter of testing your equipment over and over again. As long as you're finding it will never be 100% quiet. Yung mic ninyo ay lagi yan nag-generate ng certain type ng noise. Ang goal lang natin is ma-minimize siya. So once you reach the quietest that it can get, that's generally the best position or the best mic for your purposes. So yun po. By the way, what's shared on screen right now is the website I was talking about. This is where I download all my stuff. Everything's free to use. Depende sa kung saan nyo siya gagamitin. Parang, para sa akin kasi, the 2,500 annual fee is worth it for me para hindi nasasakit yung ulo ko, nahahanap ako ng sources every time, ganun. Pero kung sakaling hindi naman ninyo gusto magbayad ng annually, pwede naman kayo magbayad per track or per sound effect. So, yun. This is like the solution talaga for me. That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, ayun. Since I'm already nearing the end of my presentation, kasi nga ang goal talaga natin dito is for this part of the conversation, this part of the presentation to be a conversation between an editor and potential editors. I would like to end this presentation on a few reminders. Hold on a second. Let me just stop sharing the screen there. Tapos I'm gonna share this presentation. Okay, here we go. First reminder would be that editing isn't magic. If hindi mo siya na-record, the editor can't just magically place that in there. Since I also edit for videos and I also do computer graphics, one of the weirdest requests that I ever had doing this work was the client gave me a picture ng isda. Picture ng isda. And then, tinanong niya ako, pwede niyo bang pagalawin lahat ng isda? Like, it's a picture. How can we make that move? I mean, yes, maybe we can make that move, but given the time frame and the budget, we can't. Isa pa sa mga pinaka-weird na request na natanggap ko ay picture siya ng aso na nakatalikod, and then yung request ng client was paharapin yung aso. How? I mean, it's funny if you think about it. Pero yes, I do get requests like that, and I always try to remind people that editing isn't magic. What's not there cannot be created. We just edit. It always has to be there. Tapos, kung pangit yung recording ninyo, hindi siya ganun kadaling solusyonan pagka ini-edit na. And add to that the fact na uh, I always, medyo harsh pakinggan, pero I always say, garbage in, garbage out, but it only stinks less. So para lang yung pile ng basura na binudburan mo ng konting pabango or something like that, and then yun na yun. Kailangan talaga ayusin yung recording from the start. Tapos, the second reminder would be to practice restraint. I know it can get really exciting once you get the hang of the software. Maganda mag-try ng maraming bagay dito sa software, but do it in your own projects just to see how they work. Don't do it sa isang project na merong standards or kailangan umere bukas or kailangan pakinggan ng mas maraming tao. Explore projects at your own time and at your own pace, pero follow the script as much as possible when it comes to projects like this. Practice restraint. And the third and final reminder would be function over form. Great editing and great sound effects is just icing on the cake. It's just the gift wrap ng isang regalo. What matters is what's on the inside. What matters is how the cake tastes. What matters is what your content is. Kung maganda yung lessons na pinapahayag mo sa mga bata, kung maganda yung pagkakasulat ng iyong school on the air or ng iyong radio drama or ng iyong radio talk show, great. Editing and radio production is just the bells and whistles. They're just add-ons. Sure, it is an integral part of the whole radio production thing. Yes, tama si Miss Rona Radmones. Editing skills really take hard work. And again, it's a skill. Walang taong pinanganak na magaling na agad mag-edit. It is something that you practice over and over and over again. It is something that you get good at over time. And all it matters is exposure. Okay. So that is it for my slide. And again, tulad ng sabi kanina, I am entertaining questions as I'm talking. So here's one from Miss Arian Rose Salcedo. So Roble, paano po ba ma-improve ang voice quality gamit po ng Audacity? Oh, it's from Bible verse on YouTube. I only ever recommend normalization. Again, Audacity is just an editing software. What matters is how you recorded it sa simula. So if you modulate, if you properly practice your voice, yeah, sure. Maganda yung kalalabasan niya in the end. And Audacity can only normalize. Audition, however, has pitch corrections. I think Audacity also has pitch corrections. Distortion reductions, meron din siya. Echo reductions, meron din siya. I don't really recommend using many of these effects kasi they end up distorting yung recording ninyo. I always say parati na record it how you want to see it. Because I always say na editors aren't really magicians. Okay, another question from Bible Verses. Sa podcast recording po, pwede po ba ang Audacity? Yes, pwede ang Audacity sa podcast recording. Paano po ba siya manipulate if via podcast po? I am assuming that you just want to capture the podcast from Audacity itself. So you can set your recording device here into stereo mix. And that will record everything, every single sound that is coming out from your PC. So, yun. That is how you capture your podcast. If walang pang-record ng podcast yung software mo. Kung Mac po ang gamit, paano po magagamit Audacity sa Mac if hindi po Windows ang gamit? Yes, Audacity is available on Mac. Meron siyang Mac downloader dun sa link na nilagay ko dun sa video. Yung Okay. Ma'am, yung condenser mic nyo ay USB microphone po. If yes, pwede po. Kung hindi nyo need, wait lang. Ano to? GarageBand sa Mac ay okay din for recording. Yes. Actually, GarageBand sa Mac ay okay din for recording. But Audition ay meron ding Mac na version. So, ayun. Another common question na natatanong sa akin usually ay ano ang difference ng Audition sa Audacity? Audition is paid. Tapos, everything that you're ever gonna need is already there. It has plug-in support. So if there's like an effect or a process na ginawa ng ibang tao, you can easily import it there. Audacity doesn't have that kind of support. Tapos it is open source. So there are forums wherein you could request plugins from. But other than that, it doesn't have much going for it in terms of support. So yeah, I guess that's it. If there are any more questions, I'm open. You could also ask about yung video na pinakita natin if you have any more questions about that. From YouTube, how likely are you to recommend Crisp in minimizing background sounds? I am not familiar with Crisp. However, I am familiar with Voice Banana. Voice Banana is another plugin sa yung PC wherein you could wire yung mic mo papasok dun sa ano. Wait, let me search that. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, this is what Voice Banana looks like. This is what Voice Banana looks like. Pwede ka mag-plug in dito ng devices mo tapos dadaan siya dito sa mga filters na ito. Again, makalikot siya. It's heavily technical. We could have another entirely different session just talking about how this thing functions. Pero basically, siya ay isang digital na console. If you guys have seen yung console na ginagamit sa mga radyo, ito yung digital na version nun. So, all the functions, most of the functions that are there are also here. So, yun. I use this as another means to clean yung background audio other than yung noise reduction and noise cancellation features ng Audacity and Audition na na-discuss din sa video na iyon. Okay. Another question. Sir, can you tell us about your creative process on editing? Wow, that's a big question. It depends on the project, but if I'm editing for, sige, let's open up our Audition session here. If I am editing something like this, I always edit it like it's already finished from start to finish. Kasi halimbawa, if you check out yung part na to, papasok dito yung station ID, and then as you can see, meron na siya agad background music. And then yung heightened na background music ay nandito na. And then saka tayo maglalagay ng hit. Let's try to listen to that muna.
Apat kamay ang
If you mute this, hindi incorporated yung audio track doon sa voice track. Listen to it. See? Bukod pa yung voice track doon sa audio track.
Apat kamay ang pangarap sa edukasyon para sa lahat. Sulong edukalidad.
And then, fast forward natin ng konti. Since it's already ending, I had to manipulate yung music ko to use another track like this.
9.3, member, KBP, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng
And then I had to insert yung end ng audio track, ng music track ko to create this.
Pilipinas.
All that, pagka tinignan mo sa script, is just this. Yan lang yun. So, inaayos ko siya as I'm editing it according dun sa script, I am editing it na parang tapos na siya. This is why it's always important na tapos at solid na yung script nyo. Kasi any changes that happen here will domino throughout the rest of the project file. So halimbawa, kita natin kung gaano kakapal yan, di ba? Ilang layers, ilang lines, ilang chunks yan. If biglang nag-decide si director o si writer na, ay wait, gusto ko palang mawala itong chunk na ito. Pagka biglang mawawala yan, imaginein mo kung gaano karaming bagay yun nandun sa right side na yan na kailangan mong iusod at i-check for timing, na walang nagsasapawan, na walang pumangit yung timing or whatever doon sa lahat ng nasa right side. So left to right yung editing ko, first line ng script all the way to the end yung editing ko, and I edit it like the way it's already gonna be aired. So I'm really dependent on a well-written, finalized script. If it's not like that, I'm basically just I'm basically just like a blind man looking for a needle in a haystack. So ganun siya ka it gets really complicated if hindi maayos yung script is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Next question. Are these apps free? Audacity is free. Audition is not. Audition has a 12,000 annual subscription fee. So, yun. Sir, how about if laptop or computer is not available po? Ano yung magandang gamitin editing app na i-recommend mo po? Walang matinong editing software for mobile as of now. There are some apps, I think, that might do the job, pero tulad nga ng Wave na sinasabi ni RJ kanina, it's just a straight-up recording software. Everything will have to be done live. So halimbawa, yung music mo kailangan live, yung hosts mo kailangan lahat nandyan, yung School on the Air, yung sound effects, lahat live. So, yeah, ayun. If you don't have a studio, what can be the best alternative place where we can record with reduced noise? A room, any room would be fine. Basta walang masyadong malakas na echo. Yeah, it's basically just a case of managing the echo, managing the surrounding noise. This isn't a studio. This is just a room. Ang way ko lang kung paano ako nagmamanage ng sound is I use thick curtains. Tapos you don't see it, pero it's over here. Meron akong makapal na Uratex just to minimize yung echo coming in from the flat wall that's in front of me. So, yun. It's all about audio management. Sir, how about po yung sa virtual DJ? Ito po ba yung dapat namin gamitin para ma-manage po ang news beds? Virtual DJ is a great recording software. You can also use to record. By the way, nagtanong kanina about podcasts. You can use this software para ma-record yung podcast as you're airing it. So yeah, virtual DJ is a good way para maka-record. Tapos nandun na rin yung news beds. Pati yung timing mo, sobrang swak na yun. Yun ang literal na recorded as live. So open source ang gamitin kapag walang budget. Yes, exactly. Tama si Ma'am Carmela Yamada. Open source ang gamitin kapag walang budget. Ang daming sources everywhere, guys. Audacity is just but one software, albeit the best software out there na parang halos kapantay ng Audition. As an editor, do you have a checklist before starting the project? Yes. If it's something like this, sound effects always have to be there. Music always has to be there. The finalized voice files should already be there. Tapos, the script has to be finalized. As much as possible, we don't want do-overs on the script right after we've already mixed down our files, no? Kasi again, like I said a while ago, the script is your foundation. The script is your best friend. Messing up the script is sin to the profession. So, ayun. The thing that takes up most of my time kasi when I'm editing is looking for the right music. So if na-settle na yun, before pa ako mag-start mag-edit, great. If nasettle na rin yung sound effects, what kind of sound effects that have to be used, great. Mas ang laking-laking tulong nun para sa iyo as an editor. Pagka settled na lahat ng gagamitin mo before you start actually editing. By the way, sinasabi kanina ni RJ na dapat consistent and repeating yung sound effects. Kasi that's us trying to maximize the Pavlovian style of teaching. We want to elicit a response given a certain stimulus. So that's why we try to use the same sound effects whenever a certain portion is already going to be introduced. Positioning the microphone slightly above the performer's mouth is typically miking. Yes. Okay, yeah. Ako personally, I place my mouth above the receiver. Yung receiver niya is pointed at me, but the sound is going that way. Yan. Soft na yung editing. Sir, speaking of right music, can you please share us tips in selecting music? Okay. It always depends on what you're trying to create. If you're trying to create a school on the air, maybe you would want something na hype or something energetic, something that falls around 110 to 180 beats per minute. If you try to say edit a podcast or something like that, you might want to use neutral beats. If you try to edit a speech na kailangan medyo encouraging, you might want to have something na ang tawag dun sa genre na yun ay build yung genre na yun kasi it starts out low and then it ends on a high note. Let's try to use Epidemic Sound to search for that. Okay, I'm gonna try to share my screen. Let's try to go to Epidemic Sound. So halimbawa, let's try searching for neutral beats. It could be something like that. Yes, tama. Depende yata sa content at level ng instruction. So, halimbawa, yung ginamit namin dito ay solving it together. Ay, alam ko dito ko rin kinuha yun eh. So, yun. That could be a sample of what you might want to use for your own school on the air. How many hours does it take to edit a 40-minute radio-based instruction? It always depends on how ready you are before you start the project. The longer... Merong yan eh. Meron akong parating sinasabi dun sa mga budding editors at tinuturuan ko rin. The longer production takes, the shorter post-production takes. The shorter production period takes, the longer post-production period takes. Kasi halimbawa, doon ka na maglalagay nung pitch correction, doon ka maghahanap ng music. You get what I'm trying to say. The more prepared you are before you start on a project, the shorter your editing time will be. So, I try to keep it on a 60:1 ratio na parang wait, that's for video. For radio, siguro 4:1, like 4 minutes per 1 minute of broadcast. So, kung 10 minutes yung broadcast mo, you edit it for 4 minutes per minute. So, it takes you about an hour to edit something na 10 minutes. Parang I try to keep it at that ratio. That ratio is more or less healthy para sa iyo. It's hindi masyado nakakabaliw yung ganun. Hindi ka masyadong nararush, hindi ka rin masyadong naglalax. You will make it in your deadline if you try to keep it in a 4:1 ratio. But again, you will have to be well prepared before you start editing. Bible verses. What do you mean truncate silence? Saan itong software na ito? Because I gotta know. If it's on Audition, why would you need it? I would rather recommend just noise cancellation via getting the noise profile. Thanks, Sir Joseph. We're also thankful. Okay. Kasi naghahanap ng music at yes, exactly, Miss Carmela. Naghahanap pa ng music at SFX. Ang laking pampatagal talaga nun. Especially if hindi ka pa sure kung sakto to dun sa gusto ng director. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng editor siya rin yung director nung film na yun. Although it would be great if the director is also the editor or the director is sitting beside the editor as he, she, they are doing the actual editing. Sir, magbavari rin po siguro sa mastery ng editor. Yes, that's why I always say na it's a skill. So the more you practice with it, the quicker you get, and the more accurate your clicks are, the more you start developing the editor's sense. Kumbaga, halimbawa, dati nagde-depend ka lang parati sa script na sabi 5 seconds daw eh. So siguro by this time, sabi 5 seconds, kailangan naka-up yung music. So 5 seconds ko talaga siya gagawin. Eventually, magsisimula ka ng mag-involve ng sarili mong artistic intuition dun sa craft. Kasi again guys, this may be heavy on the technicals, pero at the end of the day, it is still a bit of an art form in itself. So kailangan lagyan mo siya ng konting feeling. Like if it doesn't feel right, dapat if the music, if the script says that the music has to stay up for 7 seconds, but it's only good up until the 5-second mark, pwede kang mag-make ng editorial calls the more used to the craft you are. What are the file extensions to take note when editing on Audition and Audacity? If you have other collaborators, anything, what are the pros and cons? The great thing about Audacity is that it accepts most files. AAC, MP3, MP4, FLV. Yeah, most extensions are accepted by Audacity and Audition. I, however, still use this software called Any Video Converter that helps me convert everything into everything. Napaka-flexible niya na software. So Any Video Converter, it's free, I think. I think it's free. At least in the time when I downloaded it, it's free. So yun. Yeah ba? Any more questions? Is it okay to download tracks from YouTube as long as they are copyright free? As long as they're royalty free, yun din. Pero yeah, I guess. Tapos if you're gonna be airing this through a radio station, maybe your radio station could partner with certain local artists or certain local music producers para merong local na flavor yung music or yung sound effects na ginagawa nyo for your particular program. Pero yeah, ayun. If you have another collaborator in editing, what are the pros and cons? The workflow may not be as smooth or baka magkaiba kayo ng style. Kasi again, editing is also a bit of an art form. So bawat na isang tao, bawat isang artist, like in drawing, bawat isang artist meron siyang sariling style, kumbaga, ng pagdodrawing. Dito, meron din kaming sariling style ng pag-edit. I personally like naming my layers properly. A lot of editors don't even do that. I also like naming my files properly. Like meron akong nomenclature ng file. So halimbawa, file name, version format, date recorded. Yun. That's how I like naming my files. Some editors don't do that. So baka magkaroon ng konting friction pagka ikaw yung secondary editor, like ikaw yung sasalo ng editing job. So those are some of the pros and cons that I can think about right now off the top of my head. Ano pa ba? Kapag magkaiba kayo ng office, isa sa mga tendency mangyari ay nawawala yung mga files. So, halimbawa, may ibababa sa akin na session, minsan hahanapin ko pa kung nasan yung ganitong sound effect, nasan yung ganitong bed music, nasan yung ganitong line ni host, nasan yung ganitong plug. Hindi mo in-include lahat dun sa folder. So, ayun, isa pa rin yun na kailangan gawin ng mga editor. Dapat kayo mismo sa sarili ninyo ay maayos kayo sa inyong mga files. Dapat lahat ng mga files nyo ay merong nakalagay sa mga proper na folder, merong proper na file naming system. That's why I have a file naming system. That's why I have a nomenclature system na file name, version number, date recorded, or date created. Kasi since I am an editor, I deal with a lot of digital stuff I have dealt with a lot of digital stuff over the years. So that's where the problem usually arises pagka magulo yung file naming system. It's a beginner mistake. Some people who are pro in the industry still make that mistake. So it's pretty forgivable. Pero as long as you realize that you need to name your files properly, medyo sana lahat tayo sumunod. You guys in your institutions have to have your own file naming system. Ayun, I already answered that question. What if your collaborator is in a remote location? So yun, that is yun nga, file naming system. Missing files, yun yung isa sa mga problema. So regarding Audacity, does it have sort of a manual where it can read its features and functions? Yes. When you download it and install it, the manual is going to be right there in your face. For first timers, it's hard to navigate, so we need something that we can read to help us in editing step by step. The video I sent to you contains the basics. What's there? Mag-stick muna tayo dun. What's there is like everything you're ever gonna need. Sa Audition, you're only ever gonna need two letters. Two buttons, I mean. C and V. Those are the only two buttons you're ever gonna need sa Audition. Dito naman sa Audacity, you're only gonna need the 12 buttons that are in front of you. So magkiklik lang talaga kayo. No keyboard action required. Gano'n ba kalaki yung file ng Audacity plus files and music and sound effects? Music and sound effects will vary. I can't really say that, give you a definite number. For music, usually 3 to 4 MB, 5 pag medyo mahaba-haba yung kanta. For sound effects, KB lang yan. KB lang yan. Bihira siyang umabot ng MB kasi sobrang iikli lang ng mga sound effects. Para dun sa file, sa project file, it always depends on how big your file is and how many files you're trying to incorporate into the file. So, halimbawa, kung 10 seconds lang yan, pero 10 songs yan na pinagpatong-patong mo, ang laki niyan. Kung 10 minutes yan na isang file lang siya na nilatag mo tapos chinap-chop mo lang, maliit lang yan. Can you name some voice artists you have worked with in the past? How was the experience? Tony Mabeza was a great voice actor. He's like he's got a golden voice. Sumalangit nawa. Perla Bautista is still alive, and she also has a great nanay voice. Gloria Romero is also great. Yung mga active pa sa industry ngayon, Cyrus Fernandez is actually like one of the more prolific voice actors and voice artists right now. Wilbert Herrera, he hates being called Wilbert. Weebs Herrera is also one of the greats sa industriya right now. Alain Alfred Labatos is also one of the active people right now. So yun, if you guys want to check them out, do so. They got voice reels on YouTube, I think. From YouTube, can Audacity change the quality of recording for money? No, you can't. You can only downsample. You can never upsample. You can. So kung 192 kbps yung recording mo, gusto mo siyang i-upsample to 256, it's not really advisable. Pero if 256 siya, gusto mo siyang i-downsample to 192, yes, it can do that. It's just a matter of how you save it, how you export it. Pero why would you want to downsample is another question. Maybe you want to downsample kasi yun lang yung kaya ng player mo. You're playing in the lower end machine. Yeah, sure. Pero why would you want to downsample? Sir, is it okay to use egg trays in installing improvised radio studio? No. An egg tray only isolates one frequency of the waveform. So if the sound wave frequency is a bell curve, right? It's a bell curve. An egg tray only isolates one frequency in that bell curve, in that entire bell curve. What you want is to dampen the effects of the echo. You want to manage it by destroying the flat surfaces. Okay, so soundproofing cannot be done on a room that's already built. If you want a completely soundproofed room, you have had to have soundproofing in mind when you were building that room. Kasi dapat may three-ply yun, like yung ply mo, meron kang gap, and then saka yung outer wall mo nandun. Kasi that gap is gonna be absorbing all the vibrations para ma-manage mo yung vibrations doon sa loob ng room. So if it's an already built structure, soundproofing is already out the window. It's already off the list. You can only manage the sound that is in the room. How do you do that? You reduce the reflection ng sound. You try to absorb the sound. You try to deflect the sound. You want the sound away from the mic, basically, is what I'm trying to say by deflection. So yun yung tatlong bagay na kailangan mong gawin. Reduce yung reflection. Absorb the reflection. Deflect yung reflection. Those are the three things that you have to do if you want to manage yung sound within a certain area. So, again, like I said, ang isa sa mga main problems ko dito sa room ko right now ay yung mga flat surfaces. Since there's only a 1 meter distance between me and the nearest wall in front of me, I opted to put foam na merong divots dun sa area na yun. And those aren't regular divots, by the way. They're just slashed randomly. Para kasi sound likes patterns. Sound reflects off of patterns. Destroying patterns allows you to manage sound even better. So, yun. Just remember those three things that we talked about. What are your worst experiences as an editor? Do you also consider yourself as a voice actor? Yes, I do voice acting for various projects with UPLB and even before UPLB. If yes, can you show us a sample of how you do it? This is already it. What else do you need? This is already technically my voice reel. This is how I do it. What are your worst experiences as an editor? Yun nga, weird expectations from clients. As if magikero kami, like we can create something out of thin air. Siguro isa pa yung unrealistic expectations when it comes to deadlines. Like they need the project filed by Friday and they only give me the stuff ng Thursday. So that is hell. I have never failed a deadline, but I swear to God that I really do rue the day that I interacted with some of these people. Pero yun, anyway, we can't. What are you gonna do? Their schedule is also dependent on the schedules ng voice actors or whatever. So we have to adjust. We have to live. We gotta work with what we got. But it doesn't mean that we don't feel bad when they do that to us. Parang ganun. So yeah, that is probably one of my biggest peeves when it comes to editing. Yung binibigay sa akin day before the deadline yung raw files. So Robles, sa love and style teaching, pwede mo bang gamitan ng SFX to elicit response post? Yes, exactly. That's what we're trying to say kanina. Na kailangan kung ano yung segment na i-introduce mo, yun yung sound effect na ginagamit mo or yun yung music na ginagamit mo to introduce said segment. Do I have a podcast? No. Unfortunately, I do not have a podcast. I also do not stream or do anything of the sort. So yeah, if you would like to have a podcast with me, yeah, sure, I'm open for collaborations. Just hit me up on my email or here on Zoom or on my mobile. You guys have got my contact details. How do you connect an actual microphone? How do you connect actual microphone used for recording and using app of Audacity in your laptop? Merong inputs, merong jacks yung microphone mo, ay yung laptop mo. Usually yun yung green. No, wait. Usually yun yung pink na jack or yung blue na jack. Yung line in or yung microphone jack mo. So that's how you connect the mic that you use for recording to your laptop. And then, let me share my screen. Wait lang. Wait lang guys. So, tawag dito. Yan. Okay. I usually, after mong makonect yung microphone mo dun sa laptop mo, make sure that you connect the microphone before you turn Audition on. That's a usual mistake that I encountered din sa ibang mga participants. Na tinuruan ko nito. So you make sure that your microphone is already connected and then you try to select your microphone here. You look for your microphone here. Yan. One wise advice for pre-prod and prod stages from the perspective of yeah, exactly. Because I've been through the whole lot. Like I used to be a writer, and then I was also right there in the middle of it as an actor, and then after nun, nag-editing na ako, which is what I do mainly here in UPLB. Even during college, BS Dev ko, medyo nagkaabutan pa kami yan ni RJ sa sa UPLB. Even during BS and MS, I've always wanted post-prod work. After seeing the pre and prod fields of work, I don't know. Editing is just something that I really like doing the moment I started doing it. An improvised recording room, you could recommend like recording your lesson for school on the air. If you are in your room, I would advise na yung mattress mo ilagay mo sa likod mo just to eliminate the sounds coming in from behind you. Huwag kang maglagay ng electric fan malapit sa'yo. Tapos, or patayin mo yung electric fan mo. Tapos, try to record away from other sources of noise. Like yung window, don't record near a window. Ano pa ba? If medyo nasa-sense mo na may paparating na tricycle or jeep, stop. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. If there's rain, ang hirap tanggalin ng rain. So, yeah. I guess that's it. Ilagay mo yung mattress sa likod mo para ma-manage yung noise coming from yung likod. Try to have thick curtains or thick blankets in front of you para ma-manage yung echo mo coming from your voice. Have your mic somewhere here, and I guess you'd be fine. This is a recent thing that I did for Prime. Okay, kasi may nag-request. Can you show us something that you've done for a project? Okay, sige. Mute siya. Wait lang. Wait lang, guys. Anyway, can Audacity be installed and working using 32-bit and 64-bit for beginners? Yes. Ideally, you should be running on a 64-bit machine. If not, then 32-bit is fine. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Okay. Sige, pakinggan natin to. Wait lang. Open with. Okay. Share screen. Share.
Rice is the staple food and a very important source of livelihood for millions of Filipinos. Farmers, however, face several constraints that threaten rice production. They lose an average of 37% of their crop annually due to pests and diseases. These may occur every cropping season or occasionally, but still cause severe and extensive damage. Farmers face difficulties in managing rice pests and mitigating the risks of pest outbreaks. They spend money and time to...
I guess that's it. That's good enough for a sample, Miss Mendoza. All right. Pag mic to laptop, maganda yung audio interface because of high pass or low pass thing. Yata high pass and low pass are filters. You put them in post. You your sound cards, unless you're using an external sound card, are not gonna have that. So, yun. Ayun. Yeah, if there aren't any more questions, I guess we're good. Are we good?
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, Sir Roble,
Yes, ma'am.
and for the very comprehensive inputs. Also, some issues, in editing. It's really a very highly technical topic, and
Yes,
I
ma'am.
hope that our participants were able to get it from you.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Highly technical, but it's like riding a bike. Like you get used to it. Eventually, you find your balance and you'll be fine. Huwag kayong
for-
matakot.
maybe it will take us 2 months.
A couple of weeks. A couple of weeks. I promise. I promise. Just constant practice. A couple of weeks, you'll be fine.
Sana. Okay, sir, thank you so much.
Sige, ma'am.
And at this point, we will be giving you a certificate of recognition. And this will be awarded by the president of Southern Leyte State University, Dr. Pros Ivy Yepes. She's also the chair of the training capacity building of the consortium. Ma'am, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, most especially to our resource person, Mr. Joseph Libio Roble III. And also my cordial greetings to all the SUC, my fellow SUC presidents in attendance, and all the faculty members and other university or SUC officials who are also attending this webinar this afternoon. It is my pleasure to virtually hand in the certificate of recognition with citation as follows. The EVHEI's FLMSC awards the certificate of recognition to Mr. Joseph Lidio R. Roble III for his invaluable insights, expertise, and service rendered as resource speaker on the topic radio production in the pipeline, production of radio IMs, during the webinar series on-air learning, rediscovering radio for flexible learning on August 18, 2020, given this 18th day of August 2020. Signed, Dr. Dominador O. Aguirre, co-chair of the Technology, Infrastructure, and Support Committee, Dr. Marilyn D. Cardoso, the chair of the same committee, Dr. Victor C. Caniezo Jr., interim chair of the consortium, and our CHED commissioner, Dr. Aldrin A. Darilag. Mr. Roble, thank you for gracing and accepting our invitation.
Maraming salamat din po, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ma'am Yepes.
My pleasure.
So thank you once again, Sir Roble, for that very insightful discussion this afternoon. Maraming salamat po.
Sige po. I also posted my email dun sa ating Zoom channel for if you guys have any questions, just feel free to shoot them my way and I will gladly answer. Maraming salamat po, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Before we end our session today, we would like to request for a photo op. We request everyone to open their video so we can take a picture of all the attendees. Technical, please help us. So lahat po ng video ng ating participants, paki-open lang po. Please give us a clue dyan sa inyo kung okay na.
Anybody, anyone?
Okay, sige. Bigyan nyo kami ng cue dyan, tapos lahat na ba naka-open? Sir Dodoy?
Okay na po. For other participants, pa-open na lang po your camera.
Okay.
Sige na. Sige na. Off yung camera.
Okay na ba tayo?
We will count po. Teka po.
Everyone, please open your cameras. In the count of 10, we are going to take the picture. Again, we are requesting all our Zoom participants to please open your cameras and we are going to take a picture. We are still waiting for our other participants. Please turn on your cameras now. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Smile, everyone. Smile.
Miss Kim.
Okay na po, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations,
We will
Press Mali.
we will display po the attendance.
Yes, please. Pakitignan lang po yung screen para sa attendance. But we have an announcement for tomorrow's also for the roadshow, no? So we would like
Ma'am,
to.
it is on Thursday po.
Yeah.
Miss Kim.
Namin yung schedule ng roadshow sa Thursday. So tomorrow it's going to be a workshop for all the participants who will be presenting, and the roadshow's schedule is for the morning session we have Samar and Biliran, Souks. Then we have in the afternoon we have the latest Souks. So again, for the morning is SU and WSSU, UEP, BIPSU, and SSU. In the afternoon we have EBSU, LNU, SLSU, PIT, and BSU. So yun lang po. Thank you very much. At this point, we'd like to thank everyone, the SUC presidents in the region, Director Colorado of CHED Region 8, and CHED Commissioner Darilag for supporting this endeavor. To all the participants, thank you and good day, everyone. Joven, link ng attendance, please. Nasa screen na po yung link for attendance.
For the participants, you can annotate po on the screen for your messages for our speakers.